Welcome to Education Matters. I'm your talk show, Mr. Kamau, and with me on the set, I have my guest, Mr. Steve Nguru. Steve is the CEO, the founder of Frontier Technologies. He's also the founder of KITABU. Most welcome, Steve.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You are an ICT person with an interest in education. Give us a brief of yourself.
As you rightly put it, I am an ICT specialist. So over the years, I've supported home users, I've supported small businesses and mid-sized businesses with the ICT policies, with the ICT maintenance, with setting up the ICT departments.
How long have you done this?
Oh, I've done it for more than 20 years now.
Oh, that's good. I would like to hear about on education on matters. I discuss matters to do with digital literacy, ICT integration, the whole thing of delivering education through curriculum, through media and ICT. I'd like to hear your comments on the state of e-readiness in our schools. Are our schools ready for it?
Well, from what I've seen, the government is doing a good job in pushing for that, because number one, through the rural electrification program, the government has put power in just about every primary school in Kenya. So that's a good beginning. And now the government is in the process of rolling out the tablets to class 1 pupils. That's good. So a bit of content has been developed using those tablets. So the government has started to roll out the program. So what I'm not sure is whether the curriculum needs to have changed in tandem with that rollout.
In your opinion, when you talk about the physical readiness, the connection of power and so on and so forth, what's your experience on the ground when you go around supporting schools? Would you say that they have the hardware, they have the machines, as of now, from your own experience and personal opinion?
If I may give a case in point, in 2014, I had the privilege of accompanying an organization that was donating computers to a primary school in Nandi. And they needed to do the power in the school. They needed to prepare a computer lab in the school so that these computers could be powered. So some schools have been able to do that. Some schools have been lucky to get some donations of computer. So I'm not sure that every school has a computer lab as we speak, or that every school has power as we speak. But that was a beginning, because we were able to power those computers, and we were able to show the children and some of the staff members about
now,
what they can do.
out of your experience and by virtue of your background in ICT, are we on the right course? Do you think ICT has the capacity to deliver curriculum in a more frictionless, more efficient system? Or
I think ICT is dependent on how that curriculum is structured, because what ICT does is to facilitate learning. Therefore, that curriculum hasn't to be exam oriented. The one we have right now, it's, most people are in general agreement that it is too exam focused. Therefore, it needs to be reformed for the child to be able to use the electronic gadget to learn. So the teacher at that moment becomes like a guide, like a mentor, like the person who comes to direct the child about how to discover, how to test.
will that have a demand then on the society, the teachers themselves, for training?
Yes, they certainly do need to be retrained, basically on how to use the devices. Number two, definitely we expect when the government has reformed the curriculum, then the teachers again being the implementers, then they will need to be um, reoriented to it, retrained on it.
And now that we have already got into it via that app, the soft KITABU, which we'll be discussing in a few minutes to come, what is your take in as far as the readiness of the learner, the student in the school, the people, the readiness of the teacher, the readiness of the parent, especially in as far as the skills, they have the minimum skill set that they require to do the best utilization of the ICT tools that you have said, they are likely to be more of enhancers rather than the solution in themselves. What is your experience?
If someone has handled a phone, a basic mobile phone, or a video machine at home, or something electronic, then that is a good thing. As compared to someone who has never seen any of that. So, in a lot of places that I've been, I have seen children who have seen a computer, maybe they haven't used it, but they've seen it. Maybe at the shopping center, the cyber cafe, or the parent maybe has it. They've handled a mobile phone, so at least in their mind they understand that if I want something out of this device, I have to know what to ask it to do. So that's a mix. Some children are way ahead of others, but I think it's up to government, being the implementers of of the DLP program, to then prepare their target to be ready for it. So beyond having the right hardware in place, I think it is important that the teacher who will deal with the child is properly trained. But that curriculum again must change so that when the tablet is placed in front of the child, and all it does have is the textbook they have been using, soft copy, then you haven't done much. You need that content to be presented to the child in such a way that that child can be able to learn by themselves, they can be able to use it by themselves, they can be able to use it to discover, and you have to make it interesting.
Now, with your background in ICT, and having already seen that the uptake of the skills is not very demanding, it's as good as learning how to use a smartphone, where you don't need to go to school to learn that. What is your take in the inherent danger of marginalization? That you're really saying some kids are far ahead of others. So this child who is in Nairobi may have the privilege of having the devices even at home. And this child is in Turkana. The government has done a good job. They are connecting almost all the schools, 22,000 and so. But how do we ensure that we don't have a case of marginalization? That some kids will be driven by virtue of being near maybe the urban centers, where the availability of devices is high. Another child who is in the remotest part of Kenya doesn't have, is seeing that tablet for the first time in his life. How do we preempt that danger of marginalization?
I think we can borrow, the government and others in that space can borrow from the example of M-Pesa. M-Pesa works the same way whether you have the smartest smartphone or
the dumbest,
or the dumbest smartphone. So that content ought to be prepared in such a way that any child can use it. That's number one. Then, and therefore, it has to be easy to use. It has to be intuitive. It has to be child friendly. It must be fun, because when you have that in place, then whether the child is here in Nairobi and has already seen computers, it will still interest them. And the child in Turkana will also get interested in that content. So how you package it, I think is very important.
In very few words, so we take a break. What is the place of the parent in this whole e-learning business?
Well, I think the parent, it's important, at least for the parent, to be sensitized that this is not happening in school, because I'm not sure who's going to be maintaining those devices, because they come with a cost. They come with an annual cost of ownership. we might have to call, I don't know, but the government may have to ask the parents to help keep those tablets running. So it would be a good thing to tell the parents what these tablets are about, what they bring, and therefore what the benefits are.
Okay, thank you. We will take a short break for now. When we come back, we'll continue that debate on the role of the parent. And welcome back. This is Education Matters, where I have on my show, I have our guest, Steve Nguru. Steve Nguru is an ICT professional, the founder of Frontiers Technologies, the developer of KITABU, and I'm discussing with him the place and the role of apps in secondary schools or in schools where we use an app to transfer or to share books, both in soft copy and hard copy. Before we go to KITABU, let's finish up on the role we talk about the role of the parent. What do you say about that?
Well, yes, as I was saying, I'm not sure whether those children will be carrying the devices home. If they will be, then it's important that the parents also appreciate that they are sensitive gadgets, and that they have to make sure that the children.
Let's imagine they're not carrying them home. Does it mean then that e-learning can only happen in school? Can e-learning happen at home?
It can happen. I mean, but you would need a certain, platform that everyone has, that every parent has, and therefore you would need to find a form of communication to them and getting them to own that whole process. And this is key because if everybody does the same exam, you don't want the children in Turkana, after a year their tablets are broken down, there are no funds to fix them, but the children in Nairobi have been able to keep theirs running.
I'm interested in the parent because I want you now to take us through KITABU, and I imagine KITABU is largely to connect the parents more than the students. Yes. So that's why I'm trying to do the connection between this e-learning that's happening in the school and what's happening at home.
Okay.
So tell us about KITABU.
KITABU is a marketplace for textbooks in your phone. Yes.
So what do I need to start using KITABU? How much do I have to pay? How much will it cost me?
KITABU is free of charge. The app that we have put out is free of charge to anyone who downloads it. You can download it from Google Play or the website. So what it does is that it comes as a need because there was a need to try and lower the cost of access to textbooks. Because what happens, studies have shown that the textbook to people ratio in Kenya is 1:4 in math and English. That means one textbook is shared by 4 children.
Yes.
Now that's not exactly a conducive environment for quality learning. And therefore, when a child has used a book, say in class 5, and the next year they are going to class 6, KITABU enables the parent of that child to take that book and sell it to the one whose child is coming to class 5 and use that money to buy the class 6 books.
So first and foremost, you're saying it's a free app.
It is free.
You can get it on Google
Play, that's right.
It's not available on Android, on iOS and others?
No, it's just available on Android at the moment.
At the moment, yes. It also means that you have to have a smartphone?
Yes, you do.
Yes. So now if you have a damn phone, you are off.
You cannot use it in your phone, but that doesn't mean you cannot use KITABU because you may know someone who has a smartphone. So who is using KITABU? Or you can ask them to use KITABU, and then you can go into the smartphone and list the books you're looking for or the books you have that you want to sell. Yes.
So give us more details, the mechanics, what actually happens. So I have my smartphone, I have downloaded KITABU, I'm looking for Class 8 for my child who is going to transition into class 8 next year. And I know some guys have just closed their preparing for the KCP next year.
Okay.
He was a mechanic, so that is.
So what Swap KITABU does, it brings the parents in one school together so that they can swap books. Okay, so if my child is going to class 8 next year, you go into the app and you say, I'm looking for this class 8 book.
I'm looking for one standard workbook, class 8.
Yes. And Swap KITABU enables you to put in the name of the book, the publisher, the class, and the subject. Because a lot of these books have similar sounding names because they cover the same subject under the same curriculum. So, and it also enables you to be able to put a picture of the book. So another parent who has a book will be able to contact you through an inbuilt chat function within the app, and the two of you now can communicate.
Does it support the lookup facilities? At the moment I start typing Longhorn, so this it fetches the title, or is I have to type it in full?
All that has been taken care of, because what you do, the first thing you do on Swap KITABU is you say the class. So I'm looking for a class 8. The class is already in place. The subjects that are covered under the 844 curriculum are already in the app. And then the books that are approved by the Kenya Institute of Curriculum Development, formerly KIE,
KICD.
Yes, now KICD, are already in the app.
The audit book? So are you saying you have all the titles on the audit book?
Yes, I do. For both primary and secondary. And then the publisher, of course, is entered automatically because that info is already in the app.
So what happens if somebody is looking for a book which is not on the audit book?
No problem. Swap KITABU has a built-in group chat for the parents in that school. So you'll be able to put in a group chat and say, I am looking for this book, or I have this book, and you can attach a picture of the book.
Right. Give me the logistics. I'm in Nairobi, I'm looking for that book. And in the course of the conversation, I get somebody else who is on the other side of the Kenya, maybe is in Mombasa.
Yes.
What happens?
That's a good question, because sometimes a book may cost just 200 bob. And the logistics of sending that book down to Mombasa may not make sense.
Yes.
Okay? And remember, 200 might be the cost of a new book. So you don't expect to sell a used book for 200. Maybe it's 100 bob. Number two, don't forget that Swap KITABU connects parents in one school, which means the parents in your school are the ones who likely need that book or have the book you need. Therefore, when you list it, you have hundreds of parents seeing your listing, and therefore you're likely to get a parent within your school to be able to
then two very fast questions, because we also learn time. Does it support soft copies? One, and secondly, if you are limiting yourself to only the parents within the school, are you not limited in that I happen to be in Nairobi and I have a neighboring school where there could be that book that I'm looking for, and I cannot get there? Is that not a limiting factor? First thing, does it support soft books, and the other limiting factor of the community that I'm allowed to interact with?
Yes, the orange book you mentioned, the books that are approved by the Ministry of Education for the 844 curriculum, there are copies that are in soft. So you basically purchase a CD with the content. So Swap KITABU is still able to have those parents who need or have those books to exchange. Number two, at the moment we have allowed you to be able to see the books that are being listed by another school. Okay? But the way our education system works is that one school uses one book for one subject, and a different school may use a different book by a different author for the same subject, for the same class. So we don't quite felt that that was a priority, but we've enabled that. But what we see is that parents within one school are the ones who will essentially be able to exchange books because they use the same.
We'll take a short commercial break at this point. When we come back, we will continue from that point, and we'll see exactly how Swap KITABU as an app is going to facilitate learning. Thank you very much for viewing. Don't go away. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is Education Matters. I'm your host, Mr. Kamambogwa, with my guest, Stephen Nguru, this guy from South KITABU.
Yes.
Now, we stopped at the point where you're trying to explain to me how South KITABU works. Can you come back and tell me what you mean when you say that I can only get books from the people that we are in the same school? What exactly does that imply?
I was trying to say that, for example, let's take a school, maybe Thika Road Primary School.
Mm.
You might find that for their class 5, the math, they use a book by, say, Jomo Kenyatta Foundation.
Yes.
A neighboring school, class 5 math, they use a book by Kenya Literature Bureau. So the person in Thika Road Primary is unlikely to be interested in the Kenya Literature book because the school hasn't asked them to purchase it. But in his school, there are a lot of parents who pass through that class 5 who have that book. That's one. So they are likely to get that book easily nearby. Okay? And therefore, when they agree to meet to exchange books or to exchange money for books, it's convenient for them to do that because they drop their kids in the morning or they go to school regularly, and school is a familiar place.
Okay. So for how long has this South KITABU been available?
We are now just about to complete 1 month. So it launched this month. And so right now we are going out to schools and speaking to parents and sensitizing them about the benefits of the app.
And you're saying the subscription is free? Update is free?
Absolutely.
Use is free?
To download it's free. It's a small application. It's just 3 MB.
3 MB?
Yes.
Very, very light?
Yes, very light on your bundles.
Yes.
And very simple to use. And it has a built-in chat functionality that also uses very little of your...
That allows the parents to chat within the same school?
Yes.
And
that makes sense because, sorry to interrupt, that makes sense because they share a lot of interest. They are stakeholders in that school. So it allows them to discuss how their school is doing, how their children are doing, how their teachers are doing, what they want, and through the app they can interact with the administration. Yes.
They can interact with administration?
Yes.
Are your main conditions for that?
Just within the chat or within the group chat. Yes.
What about the teachers? Can they have a private, the board of management, the teachers and the parents? All of them having the same conversation? Actually,
we have targeted all 3 groups because that's the stakeholders in the learning outcomes for the child.
Yes.
So all of them should come into the app and have those conversations happening daily. Yes.
Who moderates that conversation?
Right now, it's a free space for everybody, but we would be happy to invite schools that want to moderate that and control that. We are open to those suggestions. Yeah.
Okay, we want to change a little bit, and now I want to bring in the element of social media. Because even from the top now, we're saying that schools are getting e-ready. The government is rolling out a project, which is a good thing. We are saying that we have South KITABU, which is now coming in, even to facilitate the conversation in the school. But then I'm wondering, what is the place of social media in learning? Again, we throw back on your professional background. You're an ICT person. You have developed the SWAP app, and this South KITABU app is running on social media platform. It's on Google. It's an IM, what you call the instant messaging software. What is the place of social media?
Well, what I can say is you are the friends you keep. So we're talking about children here, so we cannot exclude the parent. So we know that parents must control what their children have access to, what they view. Like now they are just about to close school, so the parents have to take charge. Having said that, then I have seen schools, for example, give out holiday homework through the internet. That means you have to let your child access the internet to download that content. So something has been happening in the education space.
So would you say social media is a good thing or a bad thing? In as far as the beginning is concerned?
It's a double-edged sword. Social media that is mostly, built and has come from the West, so there's a lot of stuff there. But we can use it to send out content. We can use it to enable our children to have group discussions, because social media is about community. So, and I think this is also a challenge to developers who perhaps could begin to think about building those communities within the well-known social media apps, so that when children in one school or in one class go home, they can create a group that enables them to
you have already mentioned the fact that now we are actually starting them in second term, and it's only those ones who are doing the terminal exams, the KCP and the KCC, who are likely to be in school going forward from where we are today. I'm interested and I'm concerned. Soft KITABU is an IM again, as I've already said. Social media, as you're talking about, is available on the smartphones that the parents are actually holding, and we actually know the children actually access them. I'm looking at it this way. Can we have a scenario whereby this social media actually is deliberately designed to enhance that? What can we do around that? I want to tap on your maybe ICT background. What is it that you think can be done to ensure that social media has more of an enhancing and empowering function than distracting, really, especially when they close? And for your information, they'll be out now for almost 2 months.
Yes. I think social media, as I said, is a double-edged sword. So if you put any boundaries on it, you may have no takers, as it were. So it's an open place where people come together and then begin now to have conversations around that. So perhaps the school or the schools or the curriculum or the policy implementers can begin to encourage to push content into social media spaces, so that when our students are at home, they can go in there and be able to now interact, have group discussions, help each other with homework, help each other in discovery, share what they know, ask questions, ask each other, engage the teachers.
Can Soft KITABU make kind of a platform to enable that conversation and that exchange? Have you not configured how you can configure Soft KITABU to act maybe as a content, a platform around which, when they're discussing books, you can also discuss other content, learning on the same platform?
At the moment, because the app has a group chat functionality, the teacher can tell the students, his or her students, for example, like this coming Saturday, let's meet on Soft KITABU, the group chat for our schools. I'll be conducting Q&As, or I'll give a few instructions about this particular topic. So the children then get permission from their parents to do that, and then the teacher engages his or her students around it. So for now, you can use the group chat feature to reach out to a group of students. Yes, and they themselves can also use their parents' phone to chat, or if they have personal phones.
Let's follow back on Soft KITABU. There's something that's coming in my mind. What legal obligations do you have if, in the course of the parents trying to exchange either the soft copy or the hard copy of the books, in case there's a fallout in between, what happens? Maybe I promise to do this, and then somebody sends the money, but the book was not delivered. What do you have to do? How are you going to claim that people do not again run into conflicts and they don't? Who is liable for what?
Okay, we have advised in the website and within the app that you should not meet in strange places. So, and that's why we said we bring parents in one school together. So when you need to exchange, meet in school. Okay, and only pay that person because you have looked at the book and you're happy with it, and you give them the money. So we minimize the risk of fraud or any danger, any personal danger. So meet or meet in a familiar place, church. Yes.
But again, let's bring a digital platform. Do we need to meet? Because again, if you can chat,
how will we exchange the book?
The security, can do. You can do
Yes,
it. You can send this somebody.
Yes, but now that's a risk that you take as a user, and so you need to be careful about that. You need to vet that person in whichever method perhaps you'll employ. But yes, that is something for those two parents to really think about. And as you rightly put it, inherent risk. If you send the money and the book doesn't come to you,
Or
you send the book and the money doesn't come.
Yeah.
So
you have to.
that's something that the parents have to think about. Maybe perhaps down the line, we can have a central collection point where you send us the book, you send the money, and then we send you the money and we send the book, and we make sure that the two of them.
Well, as now of the developers of KITABU, I want to give you a chance to address our viewer. Give him a commitment. Let him know as to what he can expect from KITABU, and at the same time, also you can also give the number just in case they need to find out more clarification from you. Well and good. Please address the viewer. Let him know what to expect.
Thank you for that. Swap KITABU, as I said, is a mobile application that you download from Google Play or from our website, swapkitabu.co.ke. That's swapkitabu.co.ke. And what the app will do for you, it will give you an opportunity to list the books that you're looking for, or the books that you have at home in your library that your children are no longer using. So you can use the money that you get from selling those books your kids are not using to buy the books that your kids need for the next year. So it saves you money, it is convenient, and it is real time. So this is the promise that we are making at Swap KITABU, that we are going to lower the cost of textbooks.
Your number?
My number is 0722 799097. 0722 799097.
Thank you very much, Mr. Steve. I believe, my viewer, you have been empowered. You have been told that you don't have to hassle too much getting books. The books are there. Let's not have academic bonfires where some people set books on fire because they no longer need them. Let's bring down the cost of learning by facilitating exchange. And I also look forward to a time where that Swap KITABU platform will also be an avenue around which a lot of conversation, positive and empowering conversation can be done around education. On that note, viewer, we come to the end of the show. Until next time, remain with the Remote TV where you watch and learn.